When they came out and said that Luis Elizondo had nothing to do with AATIP whatsoever, the Pentagon
That
said this.
was a horrible, wrong piece of public relations. That was absolutely incorrect. They did not know what they were talking about. My boss went to report to Lou at the Pentagon in the OUSDI offices during the AATIP era. So that's, you know who my boss is, Hal Putoff, right? Dr. Hal Putoff.
Hey, what is up guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're bringing you a brand new video, so please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and as you saw with the previous clip, it's going to be an interesting one. I'm pretty sure this video is releasing on Saturday, so I'm hoping you have a great Saturday and you're enjoying it and you're taking it easy, and yeah, enjoyed your weekend. So yeah, we're just going to be looking at a few clips today, taking it easy, seeing what has been said about Lou in the past. There's some controversies surrounding Lou's employment, AATIP and AAWSAP and all that good stuff. So please subscribe, put the bell notifications on to not miss a video, guys. I appreciate you. Okay, so let's get into it.
Anyway, that's the AAWSAP AATIP thing. Going back to AATIP, to Luis Elizondo, this was different. This was something that operated out of OUSDI. This was separate from the original AAWSAP contract. This was something that he wanted to pass to Neil Tipton. And again, this memo would essentially make Tipton's desk the central point for all things UAP and UFO related. That is, if I think it was Patrick Shanahan, then DepSecDef at the time, would issue that memo. There's no evidence that the memo was issued, obviously, or you know, we'd be having a different conversation at this point.
That's where the name AATIP came from. AATIP was something that was necessary to be proceeded with on military cases. Lou handled that. I was not privy because it was mainly spun up as I was getting ready to retire. I will say this, though, that when I left, all of our reference.
Here's one I think could be constructive. And as recently as today, this is floating around all over the place. You and I have exchanged some information about it. Dr. James Lukatsky answered an email. Some news organization asked him for a photo, and along the way they said something about AAWSAP that he corrected, that it seemed like the questioner got it wrong, and he just corrected him, but he didn't want to give a comment. They used his comments anyway. And it sounds like he's coming after you. I'm telling you, he was not coming after you. He was not. He was just pointing out you weren't really a big part of AAWSAP. You were invited to be part of it, and if it had survived, you would have been part of it. But he was just clarifying that, and it sounds
correct.
like he's
no, it
attacking.
was not part of AAWSAP. I made it very clear in my book. In fact,
right.
You know, Jim was one of the founders and creators of that. You know, the guy deserves enormous credit for that. He really does. There would not be an AATIP had there not been Jim Lukatsky or an AAWSAP. And I don't look. I don't take anything personally. I know Jim very well. He's a highly intelligent man. You know, I don't know the nuances of what happened, but you know, like I said, man, it's. I don't pay attention to the drama, anyways. You know, Jim's a great guy. I'm sure if he had a problem, he'd probably let me know. So just like I would him.
Let's talk AATIP versus AAWSAP. So, you know, the New York Times story was very important, but it got a couple things wrong. You know, the $22 million that was supposedly went to AATIP was AAWSAP money. And there's a lot of blurring of the lines, in part because some of the people who worked for AAWSAP, that contractor effort under DIA, also helped you in what became AATIP later. A lot of confusion there, including even just as recently as today, about who did what and what happened, and whether or not there's all this competition between the guys who had different jobs, you, Jim Lukatsky, Jay Stratton. Can you sort of help us sort of separate wheat from chaff on all that confusion?
George, these guys are all great guys. You know, Jim Lukatsky is again, he's a national hero. What he was able to do was incredible. You know, and Jay Stratton, too, was able to do. I mean, he became the first UAP task force director. You know, so these men have done great things for their countries, and both AAWSAP and AATIP owe their existence to them. But there are, you know, it is a blurry line because elements of AAWSAP later transformed into AATIP, the formal program that was run not out of DIA, but out of the Pentagon, where I was at. And there's where things get blurry, because not everybody in AAWSAP was part of that formalized effort later on. And so it's understandable to me that there's some confusion. Look, the reality here is we're all working towards the same thing, man. It's all about disclosure, right? And put egos aside and all that nonsense, because at the end of the day, we're one team, one fight. And it's about getting the job done, getting Congress informed, getting the American people the information they deserve, right? And getting the government to work as it's supposed to work. I don't like to get into the trenches of the he said, she said. It's silly. I don't think it's constructive. And at the end of the day, everybody deserves credit. Everybody has done a tremendous job. The folks at AAWSAP, the scientists there and the folks over with Bigelow, they did an incredible job. Bigelow paid for a lot of this stuff himself. People don't know that. I mean, this guy's a patriot. I mean, he spent his own money fronting a lot of the bill for the government's efforts. There's a lot of good people. Colin Kelleher, Jacques Vallée. I mean, all these folks did incredible work for the government. So, I don't like to get into the he said, she said, because I'm not sure it's necessarily constructive.
Well, here's the thing.
In conclusion today, guys, I hope you enjoyed it. I really do. I hope you enjoy your day further and your weekend was good once again. I will be uploading a little bit less due to employment, so that's great, but also uploading less, which isn't, but I'll try and make plans and whatever around it whenever I can and all that. I'll keep you updated on what it is. So yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Okay, peace out.